Hey folks, my name's Ed Travers. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral, the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Gwe. Someone asked me a question the other day, and as I was thinking about my response, something Jesus tells us to do over and over and over again, something that Jesus mentions over and over and over again popped into my brain. Feed them. Feed them. Jesus, when you read the Gospels, we hear about Jesus feeding people all the time. We hear Jesus telling the disciples about how they are to feed people. We hear Jesus telling us how we are to feed people. Well, what if, by feeding them, he doesn't just mean filling their bellies? Just before we go any further, filling a person's belly is essential. It is incredibly important. Making sure that people are fed is incredibly important for their spiritual journey as well as their physical one. But what if he meant more than that? What if feeding them was more than just a matter of their physical hunger for food? The question I was asked was, how do I reach a family member who's gravitating into conspiracy theories, who's fallen into the world of conspiracy theories? How do I reach them? Show them that this is a dangerous place to be, a destructive place to be, that its promises are empty. Feed them. See, I suspect anybody who's gravitating to a conspiracy theory or conspiracy theories, anybody that's gravitating to QAnon, anybody that's gravitating to an extremist ideology, philosophy, theology, that's not the illness in and of itself. It's a symptom of an illness. They gravitate to that because within them there's a hunger. And these things, those extremist ideas, those conspiracy theories, promise them a solution. It promises them comfort to the ache of that need they feel. And in fairness, that need could be either naturally occurring, just something that came up for them, or it could be something that's manufactured. Needs can be manufactured. Absolutely. Ideas can be manufactured and often are, perhaps even more so than they occur naturally. Think about all the ads you see. Think about the commercials that you're inundated with when you're watching your favorite show, right? They tell us, more often than not, those ads tell us that we have a need that their product will meet, despite the fact that we are completely oblivious to the need until they tell us what it is. But their beer, their shirts, their cars, their medication, their insurance, whatever it happens to be, their product will meet the need that they are so graciously informing us that we have. So we've got to figure out what the need is. Because if we're going to meet the need, if we're going to feed them, if we're going to comfort them, if we're going to take care of that need of theirs, we have to understand what it is. And what that means is that we've got to get close. And we have to be open, and we have to be welcoming, and we have to be loving. We can't have a bias. We can't be perceived as someone who is judgmental. We have to be somebody that they want to share a cup of tea with, who they want to share a meal with, somebody that they want to speak with and talk to and laugh with. If we want to move people away from those extremist views, if we want to move people away from those conspiracies that scratch their particular itch, we've got to figure out what that itch is. Again, from what I researched, That itch is usually something about safety, something about feeling out of control, feeling as though there are demons lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce on them and take from them everything that they value and hold dear. But we can't know that for sure. And we can't know the specifics of their need for sure unless we invite them. Unless we invite them in, unless we work to build relationship with them. There's lots of us right now who are worried about our friends and family because they're gravitating into this nonsense. They're gravitating into these ideas. They've sold themselves into these notions. And we love them, and we're terrified for them. So if we're going to be there for them, if we're going to make a difference in their lives, if we're going to help them, we first need to know what it is that they need. And then we need to feed them. If we don't feed them, there are people, there are things, there is evil lurking in the shadows, waiting to. May the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, may the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you, may you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that each of us will be a bright, shining, redeeming, loving light into the lives of all those folks we are worried about. I pray that we would be willing to learn about their needs, to learn about their wants, to learn about their desperations, their griefs, their fears. And I pray we're all strong enough that we'll work diligently to meet those needs, that we will work to feed them as they are dying to be fed. Amen. Nemultus.